It's you and me.
Let's go!
We're back here. The crestfallen young man faded into the distance, and the decrepit double doors clacked shut. Through the shattered glass, you could see only the ruins of a garden, not a single rose growing within. You had, evidently, returned from the past. In the garden, weeds grew taller than people. You found it difficult to look at. A wolf howled in the distance. The children, the sea of roses, and the white-haired girl were nowhere to be found. You and the maid who called you master were the only people present in the mansion. What happened to them next? Oh, master, you would know better than I.
So it'd have to be Mel.
Yeah, but My, you cannot remember? It seems this is quite serious, then. Worry not, my loyalty lies with you, master. The mansion has witnessed more yet. Let us make our way to the second door.
I'm scared this has only begun.
Are we finally finishing chapter 1, maybe?
Maybe. Jeez, that was a long chapter 1.
Honestly. Your hand in hers, the maid guided you back through the kitchen and into the tea room. Her palms were still cold. You felt as though you were clenching ice. Master, do you wish to know the truth no matter what may be hidden within? Or, if it is something you would be happier not knowing, would you rather remain in the dark? Oh, is that so? I wonder about their father. Yes, the flaxen-haired sibling's father. Do you think he knew about the white-haired girl? If he did, then perhaps he allowed her to stay because of how deeply he loved his wife. Or maybe because he did not want people to find out about her. I expect he too experienced many different emotions. But those pages of his story remain untold. Their parents likely had a turbulent tale as well, but theirs is not of consequence. To whom? I could not tell you. You and the maid crossed through the entrance hall, continuing your trek. At some point, the fire in the fireplace had faded to embers, emphasizing the lack of light within the mansion. The maid took a candlestick and lit it in the cinders. The small flame illuminated her pale face. On a whim, you asked the maid about herself. About me? I am a maid devoted to your service, master, as I've said. What was that? You are interested in my name? You flatter me. I truly do appreciate the question, but you are more than welcome to simply call me the maid. Also, it would make me much happier to hear you say my name after you have recalled who you are, master. A subtle smile rose to the maid's face, after which she began to lead you down a first-floor corridor. Still holding the maid's hand, you passed in front of a full-length mirror. In it reflected the warm light of the candle, which disappeared out of range shortly thereafter. Oh my, is something the matter? Did you come across something peculiar? The maid had not appeared in the mirror,
She's the witch.
though she was not the only one without a reflection.
Are we in like some kind of weird dimension of like
Probably in limbo.
dead? Yeah.
Yeah. Purgatory?
Yeah.
You reached the end of the corridor. There appeared to be a doorway, but the door itself was long since gone, leaving only a hole in the wall to frame the stairs behind it. Without hesitation, the maid descended into darkness. You have more interest in this mansion, master, than in a mere maid, do you not? Though it pains me to say as much in your presence, master, this house is cursed. Yes, it is a curse that runs deep. As you just bore witness to, the majority of those who dwell within these walls fall into misfortune. I have served here for many years, and periods of happiness are as fleeting as a sugar cube in a cup of hot tea. Why did such tragedies befall them? If I were to guess, master, it was because you had not returned.
Huh? Who I be?
But when you remember your true self, The mansion's curse should be broken. The next door is before us. It appeared to be the entrance to a cellar. The disconsolate wooden door was visibly rotten in several places, and it seemed it might crumble at a single touch. You could hear the sound of something devouring meat beyond the door. Maybe there was a beast living within. Before you had a chance to say you thought it was dangerous, the maid opened the door with a chilling smile on her face. Your first impression was that it smelled of blood.
Oh, the second door.
The second door.
Oh yeah, I forgot the first door happened.
17.
I don't remember what the year was for the first door. It's been too long.
Okay, so 15 something something was a few years before they were born, so this is like well over 100 years. The mansion sat in ruins in that era. Not a soul resided within. The grandeur of the house was lost to the ages. It was in perpetual decline. Not a flower grew in the garden. Dust and dirt blackened the plaster. Cobwebs blanketed the corridors. Ivy shrouded the outer walls. It was not a pleasant sight. As hard as I tried to fight it, I could not stop the mansion's descent into despair. The depth of the previous owner's grief, or perhaps despair, was far too much. After the beautiful flaxen-haired family, people stayed away from the mansion. They had no heirs, so their bloodline simply vanished into the depths of history. This makes me so sad. It had been about 50 years since the house last had a resident. The forlorn property appeared as though it had been abandoned for centuries, and the occasional villager who stumbled upon it did not remain there for more than a day. My time there was rather solitary. That was perhaps the loneliest time of my life. Everyone who
Just waiting at the mansion this whole time after the whole family died?
And clearly she's not normal either if she's here.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone who what if she is the mansion?
As a mansion spirit and a human, that would be interesting.
Everyone who visited the mansion feared it, and it was left without anyone to become its master. I even came to believe that my time serving as a maid would come to an end in this era. However, one day, I noticed something out of the ordinary. As a servant of the house, I am almost immediately aware of any new presence within its walls. And there appeared to be someone downstairs. Can you imagine just how delighted I was?
Oh. What are we looking at here?
Box. So distorted. The part of me was anxious about what kind of person I might find. The possibility that it could be you had my heart aflutter. So, resisting the urge to rush, I headed for the basement. The cellar was where red wine, smoked meat, and other preserved foods were kept. By that point, the wine was practically antique.
That was my stomach.
No. It is quite aggressive. As I had expected, a man had made his way into the cellar. Is anyone there? Although, I'm unsure if referring to him as a man is entirely accurate. Oh my, this is quite something. The very first thing I sensed was an almost unbearable stench. The odor emanated from the man, heightened by the food he had carelessly rummaged through. Blood-red liquid spilled from the wine barrels, soaking the floor. His sunken eyes had a piercing wolf-like glimmer in them. His teeth were sharp and yellowed, visible as he ripped into a chunk of meat. He grumbled in a seemingly inhumane tongue. I was looking at a beast, or perhaps a half-beast. There was another source of odor in the room, though. It had something of a kind of metallic tinge to it, and when I noticed this, I nearly passed out. The red liquid was not just wine. as I had assumed. The beast had, I presume, stolen a weapon from the village. A sword far too nice for him to lay on the floor by his side. I could hardly imagine how many people's lives he had taken with that blade. It was visibly wet with blood, even in the darkness of the cellar, but at the same time it had an imposing gleam. The fine, luscious aroma of the wine could not mask the stench of blood and the beast. Holding my breath, I took a few moments to ponder. Ponder what? Oh, master, you know. Tell me, were you summoned here by the mansion? Did you come here knowing what kind of place it is? If you are in want of money, you are welcome to help yourself to some of the furniture. And I imagine the village would be willing to welcome you if you dressed yourself up a bit more like a person. And then you can trade the furniture for food and make your way to a larger town. The wolf was able to fool the innocent little girl simply by putting on clothing, after all. Somebody just like sliding the strings of a guitar and choo choo. Yeah. That's what it is. Nice. You gonna keep it? That's how you're gonna speak as the beast?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Oh dear. I was afraid you wouldn't understand me. What am I to do? I was in quite the predicament. Nevertheless, it meant a great deal to me that I had found someone who did not fear the mansion, be they human or beast. So I decided I should give him my assistance, while doing my best not to agitate him. Say, could you perchance be my new master? I think he's done talking. The crust falling down.
Hold on, I was moving on the bed. I'm sorry, try again.
Okay. Your hand in hers, the maid guided you. You? Oh, I made that joke in the beginning too.
Wait, what?
Because the U's capitalized, so I emphasized
yeah.
you. What was that? This one-sided conversation going on right now.
I know. Why did we never get a da 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 da?
They stopped the children a long time ago.
God, you! I don't
Now it's
understand.
horrifying.
It is horrifying. It's getting more horrifying. What is happening?
I just want. I'm not into romance, but I just wanted a cute love story.
Got some like random beatboxing back here.
Ghost beatboxing.
Yeah.
Who is what? Is that me or is that That's Mimi probably. No, because the grandeur of the house was lost in the ages and it was in perpetual decline. Jesse, James. The grandeur of the house was lost to the ages. It was in perpetual decline.
You're squeaking on my chair.
Frick! I'm too nervous. I always move around. And the occasional
Villager. Occasional villager.
it's like, it feels like
Occasion-
my tongue is like a pufferfish and it wants to go poof every time I say occasional villager. That was on you.
I mean, I hear squeakies, so I'm gonna just accept that as whatever's happening here.
Okay. To some of the
Furniture.
furniture.